Yo, what's up guys, Manager here, welcome to another video. So for this video, alright, so this is going to be a blast from the past. Now, you guys might remember this, but like a few months ago, I was playing some Saha sword, and like one of the things that I know like a lot of you guys felt, and both you guys, my viewers, as well as like my friends, when I was like telling them about the deck, right, I was like, okay, well, you don't really have enough draws to support Saha package or anything like that. Well, now in Star Force Legends, you actually do. Now, in Star Force Legends, you have a few different options for how you're gonna like support it. Like for example, you can play Knight's Way if you want to. Now, I personally don't like Knight's Way because it's a little bit slow, and I feel like the only classes that can really get away with that is maybe say Haven and maybe say Dragon. But obviously like those two both have better options. And the other one is Staircase of Paradise. Now, Staircase to Paradise is actually just ridiculous. Now, if you don't know, if you've ever played MTG or whatever, you might be able to make comparisons to Staircase of Paradise being that of Ancestral Recall, which is a very good card in that game. Nice. I'm gonna show you guys the deck list. So initially, I actually said that I wasn't gonna like play the deck list, just because like I didn't want to play it into that of PTK, but I think that's like fine now. Like, and I actually did have a deck list for like I think like maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, but I kind of forgot about it, and just because I got tilted because I played versus like PTK like 3 or 4 times, and I wasn't really quite sure how it was I was gonna like play into that deck, but yeah. All right, so let's kind of talk about the deck list itself. So right off the bat, you'll notice I have some very interesting card choices. So the first is Staircase to Paradise. Obviously, like I said, this is your key card, but like it's how you keep cards in your hand towards the mid and late game when you're playing Saha package. Now the beauty with it is that like it alleviates part of the issues that Saha package had in the past, which is that like, okay, well, sometimes you have the Saha Quill, but you don't have her combo piece. Sometimes you have the combo piece, but you don't have the Saha Quill. And this kind of helps because like you get those like 3 random cards, like, well, sorry, it's not 3 random cards, but it's just like it's 3 creature cards. And the good thing about creature cards, as opposed to just say, you know, as opposed to this card just reading draw 3 cards, is that like you know you're going to guaranteed get gas. You know you're gonna get guaranteed get cards that you can play that turn, that you can do, like, you know, like do things with them. The other good thing about Staircase to Paradise is that like like neutral decks in particular, it's very good because like, okay, so if you play it on 1, because again you have 3 copies, so you have a very strong chance of finding it on 1. You play it on 1, you play 2-drop on 2, 3-drop on 3, maybe say double 2-drop on 4, and they should have the Staircase to pop by like your say turn 6, turn 7. That fits very nicely into your Saha turn. So going on. Alright, so I'm playing Triple Unica. So this actually did like spark a discussion with my friends earlier on Discord. Now, for the 2-drops I play, you can mix and match however you feel like, but ideally you probably want to have 3 of one, 3 of another one, and then 2 of the last one. For me, at the moment, I like 3 of Unica, just because like Unica is a pain for aggro sword to deal with. Like for example, if the aggro sword goes first, or hell, even if they go second, if they go right, so they go first or whatever, and they don't have a buff, and they just have a bunch of 1-drops. They have to trade in 2 1-drops into your Unica when you just like go ahead and slam it down. That feels so awful. And then like if you have if you have a ward on top of that, and they just like start wrestling away board control on like say turn 4, you're probably gonna win those games. So that's why I like Unica. Now obviously if you don't like Unica, or if you don't face that much aggro, so you can get like swap it to something else. 3 Lyrial. Lyrial is really good as well, because Lyrial, like, she represents 5 damage if you have an Evo. She's very good versus Sword, because you know she's a swing card Evo. She's good versus Shadow, again, swing card Evo. Very nice card. Now, you could go ahead and make this your drop to 2. But yeah, like, it's a very good card, very threatening card. And then lastly, 2 Maisie. Now, Maisie is insane, honestly. Like, okay, so were it not for the fact that you were like limited in like Evos or whatever, like Maisie would just be like a ridiculous, and it would be like my 3. But at the moment, I only own 2 Maisie. I didn't feel like crafting a 3rd, so I just didn't craft a 3rd. But obviously, if you feel differently, or if you have 3 Maisie, you can just go ahead and like play it. It's a very strong card. I like it a lot. Now, one of the trade-offs is that like because it's locked way behind an Evo effect, that's actually kind of relevant because you do have a lot of cards in the deck that you do want to be able to Evo. Like for example, you want to be able to Evo Albert, you want to be able to Evo Israfil if it comes to that, things like that. So, but the good thing about Maisie is that she's also just a 2-mana 2/2. So if you're going first, you just like play it on to the same way you would like play out like a little Soul Squash, and that'll be perfectly okay. Next on the list, 3 Wholesale Twing. So you might be wondering, why Wholesale Twing? Why no Shield of Flame? So to be quite honest with you, alright, so Shield of Flame, as well as say Breath of Salamander, and you know the 2-mana 3 PP, the 2-mana 3 damage removal spells, those were all a lot more relevant back in Wonderland Dreams, just because like there are a lot of neutrals running around, they had to be able to kill and things like that. But for Wholesale Twing, I actually like Wholesale Twing quite a bit, just because like it helps a lot versus the Aggro Sword matchup. In the Aggro Sword matchup, if you're ahead on board, you don't care because you're winning that game. But if you're behind on board, and that's kind of relevant, like for example, if you're going second, you can go and like Wholesale Twing their 2-drop, get a 1-drop to contest their 1-drop, and then suddenly you're good to go. Like it suddenly takes out like maybe say 1 to 2 creatures as opposed to just like 1 creature. And being able to like stretch your cards in a particularly like difficult matchup is, you know what, that's always good. Now again, you can go ahead and make a Shield of Flames if you want. Like that maybe helps out in the PDK matchup, but yeah, I don't particularly I feel like that because that's such like an unfavored matchup pre in the first place, that you should probably just like tech towards your other matchups. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine because like this deck does beat a lot of different decks. 2 Goblin Mage. So this could have been 3 Goblin Mage at the time. I felt like 2. Now, one of the things that I like about Saha Sword is that like I always want to play like a lot of different cards in this deck, so I usually have like a few different like variants of the deck just like running around or whatever. But for now, I like 2 Goblin Mage. I like Goblin Mage because like you can pull a 2-drop. As you saw, five of my 8 2-drops that I can pull, they're Swing Card Evos. Swing Card Evos are very, very good, and I really like the Goblin Mage, especially going second, because like right. So something you can do that's like really cool is you can go Goblin Mage, you can go going second, 2-drop / Wholesale Twing into Goblin Mage, and then you have a guaranteed play on 4. Like, and if you're going second, that means you get first Evo. So if you pick up the Maisie and they somehow decide to leave the Goblin Mage alone, like suddenly you get a lot of value, and you just like control the board from that point on. The next card is the one of Kai'Sa. I actually like Kai'Sa a lot. Like I'm a pretty huge Kai'Sa fanboy, just because like it's the kind of playstyle that I like a lot. And usually for these decks, like whenever you see me play control, you'll usually either see me play Goblin Mages or see me play Kai'Sa, one or both, and that's yeah. Like I like Kai'Sa here a lot just because like it gives me plays so I don't ever like feel pressured to do anything. Like for example, like if I want you to make a play before I have to make a play, I can just go and slam down Kai'Sa. Like Kai'Sa literally costs me nothing. Like it's a 2-drop, you have to answer it because like because leaving anything up on board is a pretty feels bad man play. And yeah, like it just does so much for you. Like in particular, it also helps out a lot when you have the Saha in your hand. Like because Saha as well as Saha pieces, those are all pretty hefty. Like hefty in cost. Like you can't really play any of them until like turn 7 and onward. So that's something, you know, a lot of cards in your hand that just like can't play. Well, the Kai'Sa helps out in those situations. Additionally, Kai'Sa is also very, very nice with Staircase of Paradise because it guarantees you that you will always get at least like 2 to 3 procs more than you would have otherwise. 3 Grimnir. So Grimnir is very, very big. Now you may be wondering, why not play Romeo? Well, I'm not playing Romeo because, as you can see here, Grimnir has the same exact stat line as Romeo, but also has better scaling than Romeo because sometimes the enhanced 10 is actually relevant. And yeah, like it's a very, very good card overall. 3 Geno, it wouldn't be a sword deck. It wouldn't really be a sword deck, or sorry, it wouldn't really be like a mid-range / controller deck if you didn't have 3 Geno. That's just how it is. Same thing with the Albert. Like Albert is key to how you win a lot of your games, just because it's 10 damage with an Evo, 6 damage without. You can make it to turn 9 a lot easier than you might think with this deck, and that's just, you know, it's very, very good. It can also set up a lot of like crazy lethals with some of the other cards that we have in this deck. Oops. Alright, 1 Luminous Mage. So for my 5-drops, what you'll see here is I have a lot of like 1-ofs. And in my opinion, like 1-ofs are fine. Like you don't really have to care about them just because like they work in I guess like specified like game states or whatever. Like sometimes for Luminous Mage is gonna be like good because Because sometimes, you know, you're gonna maybe like want like one extra evo in the mid game. Well, Luminous Mage does that for you. Additionally, with Sword, you have a lot of 5-drops, so usually when it comes to the 5-drops, you usually have to like specify like where it is you want one of and whatnot, and that helps for that. Alright, so I'm gonna cover Barbossa next, because Barbossa is another very, very important factor in this deck. But for the Council card Knights, it's the same thing as the Luminous Mage. Like you want a good like mid game punch. Council card Knight skips that to you. It brings up 3 creatures into play. Now, mind you, the other cool thing about this is that like all of those creatures, they're all neutral, so they also work with Maisie if you can pick that up like later in the future. It's just very, very nice. And then it also gives you pretty much everything you want. Like you got a Storm unit if you want that, you got a Ward if you want that, you got a Bane unit if you want that. So it gives you a lot of different trading options. That's very, very nice. Like I really like being able to go Council card Knights on 5 into General on 6, because that's a lot of tokens that your opponent has to deal with. Like that buys you a lot of time and a lot of space. It also like makes it easier for you to clear in different ways if you need to. Alright, but now onto the Barbossa. So Barbossa is a very, very cool card. I actually like it a lot. Now, like when Barbossa first got like revealed or whatever, I was like, okay, cool, this card is absolutely insane. So from reading the effect, it's a 5-minute 5/4 commander with Rush. Last words, at the start of your next turn, put a Barbossa into your hand, change this cost to 8 if there are 2 enemy followers or less in play, and then change this cost to 2 instead if there are 3 enemy followers or more in play. So right off the bat, you can see that like that Barbossa is a lot like Oro. So if you don't know, I'm a very, very big advocate of Oro, and I usually try to play it wherever possible. And this card is basically like the sword version of Oro. Now, Barbossa gives you a lot of things that they actually might not have known that you wanted in Sword, but is actually very, very good in Sword. So, for me, how I play the Barbossa, I mean, obviously, like I only play it, I only have it as a 1-of, just because I feel like you only really need one of it, because usually when you have one, you never get rid of it, because like it has to be banished in order for you like to no longer have one. That's fine, because like there's not that many banishes running around. Anyway. So for how I like to use it, I don't actually think of this as a 5-drop play, at least not at the moment. I think of Barbossa as a card that lets me force through plays, quote unquote. So ideally for me, when I want to play Barbossa, I want to play it on a turn where the next turn where I have something that's like really, really good standalone that I might want to like play without having to play an Eva for it. That I can use it to force out that. Like for example, ideally in this deck, you're going to want to play Barbossa on 6. You're going to want to play Barbossa on 6 because this way it forces your opponent to want to go narrow. Like if you go narrow on a board, you know what loves that? Saha decks. Saha decks love for you to go narrow on a board, because if you go narrow on a board, it means I can play out my Saha Lucy. You probably only have maybe one or two creatures in play. I go ahead and clean up both those creatures. Oh, look at that, I got a heal. Oh, look at that, I suddenly have the board. Oh, look at that, I have a Barbossa in my hand. Sorry about that. I'm getting a little bit excited, but yeah. So I like playing it on like 6, 7, 8. Yeah, on turn 6, 7, and 8, because you have the Saha on 7, you have Lucifer on 8, and you have Israel on 9. Being able to hardcast any of those and not get punished if you decide not to Evo is very, very, very good. Just because for each Evo that you save using this, that gives you one more Evo for Albert. Now, in my opinion, like I think of Barbossa as essentially giving me 2 Evos. You get one for the Barbossa because he himself has Rush, and then you get one more for the Evo that he buys you in the future, because your opponent will go narrow on a board and not put that much pressure on, put that much pressure on the board, because they don't want you to have the 2-mana Barbossa. Like 2-mana Barbossa is ridiculous. Like 2-mana 5/4, sign me up. And it's just very, very good overall. 3 Saha, this deck doesn't work if you don't play 3 Saha, so I like 3 Saha a lot, just because like it gives you more rush, it gives you essentially more Evos. Now again, like I said, like even though you don't have, even though it doesn't seem like it, you have a lot of Evos in this deck. Like Saha, that represents 3 Evos. Barbossa, again, like I said, he represents 2. Luminous Mage, that represents 1 more. So it's 6 Evos right off the bat. Like in a game, you're gonna effectively have 8 to 9 Evos per game. That's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. 1 front card general. So generally for me, when it comes to Sword 7-drops, it's basically just between like front card general and Roland. Now for me, if you're I usually like front guard general if I know I'm playing like stuff like Bahamut's, whereas like if I'm not playing Bahamut's, I like rolling better. The swap is also based off of whether or not you are versus D-ship or not versus D-ship. Like for example, you're like versus like Force or whatever. You're probably gonna want the Durandal more, just because like being able to like hardcast Lucy and having him be like straight just like immune to just like, you know, being like traded into is pretty ridiculous, because he's starting to heal you for 8 or more, and that's insane. But yeah, I really like front guard journal a lot, just because like one thing they can do is, again, if you're playing the barbossa, you play it on 6, they go ahead and they make a tall board. You know what loves what they want. Yeah, you know what loves tall board? Sword, because sword can dismantle single unit boards very, very easily, because like half your dudes have rush. Like, but yeah, so just being able to like hardcast front guard general is very, very strong, because like if you can hardcast front guard general then play a Lucifer behind it, you probably never lose that game, because like it's very, very difficult to remove a 6/7 heal you every single turn for 4. We have to deal with a 5/6 ward that produces another ward when he dies. It's very, very strong. To Lucifer, so when it comes to your Saha, to your accompanying Saha pieces, you can do like 1 Lucifer, 2 Israfil, or you can do like 3 Israfil, 1 Lucifer, or things like that. Like it's very, very personal preference, but for me, because I know that sword doesn't have healing, I want to play 2 Lucifer, just this way I can get that 4 healing on 7, into 4 more healing on 8, into 4 more healing on 9 when I go ahead and play out Israfil. Like, you'd be surprised, but like usually it doesn't take that much to just, you know, like knock over certain decks. Like usually if you heal for 4, that's already essentially like negated 1.5 like damage spells. Like for example, you need like two demonic strikes, for example, to out damage a Lucifer, or you need like 2 Dance of Death plus another like burn spell in order to out damage a Lucifer, things like that. And that healing does actually rack up pretty fast. So I just wanted to, so I can have consistency. However, if you feel like you don't need the healing, or you can do 1 Lucifer, 1 Zeus instead, just because this way you get a little bit extra like storm damage at the top, and that's sometimes, you know, that's very, very good. 2 Israfil. Israfil is the main reason is ideally the like main reason for why I even made Saha sword in the first place, just because like it gives you wave clear. That's something that sword doesn't have. Or sorry, that's something that sword didn't have prior to this, and even now, like the wave clear that they have, they can't really use it, because you can't really use it because like it's not good versus PDK. But yeah, like Israfil is a very, very strong card, just because like Israfil by herself is a 9 mana 8/8 heals you for 4. That's already very good. Then also on top of that has the wave clear, and then also on top of that, because she's such a big body, like she threatens to deal 10 damage each time you leave her up on the board. That's ridiculous. Like, you know who also does 10 damage? Albert with an Evo. Like, so these 2 cards can literally 2-shot you, and that's actually very, very cool. Additionally, even without an Evo, just Israfil by herself, like, is already such a good partner for Albert, just because, again, she does 10 damage. Like, she does 10 damage. Albert, turn 9 Albert with no Evo, that's 6 damage, so that's 16. If you use an Evo for the Israfil, well, now Israfil is threatening to deal, let's see, she did 2 before, then she does 12 more the next turn, and then that's, and then you have the 6 with Albert, that's 18 damage. Like, just from 2 cards. That's actually ridiculous. And generally, that's usually how I'm gonna like try to play the win sometimes when I can. But the good thing about this deck, or at least like when I play it anyway, is that like I feel like you have a lot of like different like abstract ways of winning, and you just kind of like, you know, sculpt your own win condition based off what you have in your hand. And then lastly, 2 Bahamut. So I will always say this, and I'll probably always say this until there's either a replacement, or he gets nerfed, or just, you know, something better than him comes out. But the scariest Bahamut in the game is a Bahamut that you did not see coming when you're not Haven. Like, just because like getting Baja blasted, like, it's pretty painful. It's pretty harsh, just because like a lot of people they only ever play around Bahamuts and Dragon, just because Dragon is the only class that predominantly plays Bahamut in the first place. So naturally, if you play Bahamut as a control deck versus say like mid-range deck, they're probably losing that game, because they probably won't have an answer to the Bahamut. Like literally the only decks that have like answers to Bahamut is like, say, that of like mid-range sword, but the mid-range sword player has to have Fangblade. or that of blood. But again, you have to have either an Emeralda or a Bahamut of your own. Like, but then like versus the other decks, it's usually pretty painful. Like, because if you can't remove the Bahamut, say hello to all the rush cards in my hand, as well as the Grimnir. That'll just like go ahead and like remove your board so I can hit you in the face. Like taking 13 to the face from the deck that also has Albert. That's not where you want to be at, friend. It's just not. But yeah. So again, this is the deck. Like, I'll probably be like working on it a little bit more. Like, I do actually have some gameplay videos lined up for you guys as well. Just because it's not enough for me to just like tell you about the deck or whatever. Because like, just because I actually know, just because I see here, I have a lot of different decks. I can probably tell you that all of these decks are good or whatever. But that doesn't actually mean that much unless I can actually provide some gameplay videos so I can show you. Okay, well, this is how I play the deck. But yeah. They'll probably be out later today, probably maybe like say an hour from now, maybe 2 hours from now, something like that, because like I already have them played. I just need to like record. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, go and leave a like, go and hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions about the deck, just go ahead and hit me up down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the deck. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.